the lovely Grace Monroe. All you Yankee fans, wake up and get your coffee. Grace, how you feeling this morning?
I see you, Hector, showing off your giveaway jersey night.
You like it? You like my hockey? You like my hockey jersey?
I'm not jealous at all. I'm not jealous at all. It's fine. I'm in Texas. Don't worry about me. No, but that's fire. That's totally dope. They kept showing it, and I was like, I don't even like hockey, and I think that jersey is fire. So, good for you. Happy for you.
Thank you. It was an adventure that I and my friend Joel was on trying to get these jerseys. I was on live on TikTok, and I went to like the front to go get them for the security, and the security was like, no, you can't get it. You're media. You got to get it from the booth. I was like, oh no, I was just coming to take a picture of it for my story. They was like, oh okay, oh you can take a picture of it, but you can't. Oh, it's fine. So I had to wait till I was in the press box in order to get it from the Yankees PR person that was handing them out. But that's because of some media people last year got in trouble. I'm not going to say names when it comes to giveaways. But let's shout out the chat before we continue. One of the best chats that are out there on YouTube. Salute, 3 capital S's. We got our guy Jacob Petruzzi in the building. Theo Nosebleed section is in the building. Big time Jerry. How you doing? Of course, we got the lovely Alex Campos who was in the building, who says the guidelines for the chat is no hate speech or bullying will be tolerated. If you violate any of the terms and services from YouTube, you will be ejected from the chat without warning. This is intended to be a safe space so we can talk baseball. Shout out to my guy JV who was in the building. Theo Dennis is here. Theo, how you doing? Salute. Yasam Lame says, good morning, Lame Channel. Yankees are overrated, frauds, overhyped. Well, I appreciate you for giving us a subscribe, because the only way you can comment in the chat is subscribing to the channel. So I appreciate you. Mikey Caliendo is in the building. Our friend Tina is in the building. Tina, how you doing? Yeah, Caleb Vasquez. Shout out to my guy Caleb. The security is OD at Yankee Stadium. 100%. Eddie Snaps is in the building. We got Nathaniel Crenshaw, and then we got the consigliere. My guy Joe, who was in the building. Eddie, I appreciate you, my guy. Grace, what's your thoughts? How was your take from this past weekend?
First, I want to say I see Alex's new profile picture, and I'm like, dang, girl, stunning, absolutely stunning.
She's always killing it.
Yeah, had to say that, Alex. You're gorgeous. We love you. Thank you so much for all the work that you do in the chat and everything else. And happy belated anniversary to you and Alex, Hector. So congratulations for that. But going back to the Yankees, it's always a little bit of a trap game going into a series where you're expected to win handily. You're expected to go out and put up a bunch of runs, and everyone's been saying that Judge rakes against the Orioles and Camden Yards and everything, and all that's true, you know. And then of course that's the definition of a trap game. And so yesterday, Will Warren had some issues that he's a young pitcher. He's still trying to work through a lot of things. Walking the leadoff batter or putting guys on base, you're putting yourself into a tough situation. He was able to get out of it in the first inning, and it was awesome. But then that formula over and over, you're going to get caught. And unfortunately, he gave up a home run, which the home run in and of itself isn't that big of a deal. But when you got two guys on base, all of a sudden, you know, ask Carlos Rodon, it becomes a big deal. So, you know, I'm not mad at Warren. I don't think he's terrible. I don't think we need to send him down.
Same. But
it was just a tough couple innings there for him to work through as a young pitcher. Luckily, Yarbrough came out and gave us long relief, which it's not the first time he's been able to do that this year. I thought Aaron Boone got the exact right guy in that situation. And then I thought putting Devin Williams in the 8th inning, where we were down a run, so it wasn't a save situation and the game wasn't necessarily on the line. However, the pressure was there for him not to allow a run, was perfect. And I even said it on Twitter, this is the perfect place to try to put Williams in a lower leverage but also high leverage situation, see how he does. He did well last night, so that was a positive. Unfortunately, Yankees just couldn't get it done there in the ninth. But man, Bautista is back. He is dirty. I always thought he was so good.
Yeah.
And when he got injured, of course, I never wished for an injury. But I was
Mhm.
like, thank God, because not thank God that he was injured, but thank God we don't have to face him for a little while. Because
Yeah.
when the Orioles were really, really good, Bautista was gone. Now the Orioles aren't clicking like they were, and Bautista's back. So luckily for us. But
Yeah.
he looked nasty last night. Oh gosh, he's so good. So anyway, there's my
Yeah.
quick little wrap up, and not to go into too much detail, but we need to talk about some things.
No, we're definitely going to touch about, Batista as well, the Baltimore Orioles, Devin Williams. We're going to touch about all of that. Shout out to the chat. My guy JV is in the building. The Ace Avenue is here. Shout out to the Ace Avenue. And shout out to our guy, Jacob Petruzzi. Dropping the TikTok league. Folks, make sure you guys go and follow us on TikTok. We do a lot of lives over there on TikTok. Also, on TikTok, we get paid on TikTok. So if you go on TikTok, you can donate to us on the lives. It's a lot of fun with the different Yankee community and the Yankee content creators that's on TikTok. So please give us a follow over there on TikTok. My guy JV, make sure you guys go and follow on Spotify. Diamond Discussions with our guys JV and Roro, a great podcast to listen to. Alex Campos just threw the link to our Instagram and our TikTok. Make sure you guys hit that follow. The Ace Avenue says the Orioles won their first game of their World Series yesterday. Absolutely, yeah. Ace. I love the pettiness, but the one thing I want to say before we talk about Aaron Judge or anything like that, I want to bring up, because you touched on him, Devin Williams. And Brian Hope put it out there, a 1-2-3 inning from Devin Williams. It's important to know that this is thought to be temporary. The Yankees expect Devin Williams to be their closer for most of the season. So Devin Williams out of the closer role right now, this is temporary until he figured things out. And yesterday, you guys didn't notice, that was the first time he had a 1-2-3 inning as a New York Yankee. It's surprising to say it, Tuesday, April 29th, that Devin Williams had his first 1-2-3 inning as a New York Yankee. And Yankee, I understand Yankee fans, they want Luke Weaver as the closer. I get it. I definitely do. I understand it. But you guys got to figure out that if the Yankees are going to do damage in the World Series or going to do damage in the postseason, we're going to need not only Luke Weaver, but we're going to need Devin Williams to be at the back end of that bullpen. We're going to need Devin Williams to be that lockdown closer or setup guy, and vice versa for Luke Weaver. As of right now, it seems like it's going to be closer by committee. I'm all for it. It caught me by surprise, Grace, because you and we were having the conversations, and I thought, going off of recent Yankee history, that if they would have made this move, it would have happened like maybe in June or July, not April 29th, not the ending of April. How long did we have to wait for Clay Holmes to be taken out of that role? So some credit to Aaron Boone and the Yankees front office making that call early, especially after Yankee fans on Friday were giving them the business.
100%. I was pleasantly surprised to see them make this change proactively instead of reactively, which is how they usually do. They wait and they beat a dead horse over and over and over until it's honestly too late, and then they make the change. But this time they didn't do that. And to be honest, they didn't have a choice. But at the same time, they deserve credit for doing it. When your closer has a 12 ERA.
Say it.
And yeah, I know it's April. I know it's the end of April, okay? But I don't give a, okay? A 12 ERA in the closer role is absolutely unacceptable. And
Definitely.
He's cost us multiple games at this point, not only in blown saves, but we've even put him in 4-run situations and he couldn't hold the game. I mean, multiple times. That didn't just happen one time. This is multiple times. And the situation needed to be addressed now because of what you said, Hector. When this Yankee squad is at the best, Devin Williams is part of the formula. We have this tool available. We need to use it. Luke Weaver is the best relief pitcher on the squad, but part of his strength is being able to deploy him in other innings and other situations when you need to get out of a spot. And also, he has the ability to pitch multiple innings should you need him to. Devin Williams is coming in. This is the plan. Coming in a clean 9th inning, no runners on, shut it down. 3 outs, pop, 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 game over. That's Devin Williams' role. Luke Weaver's role has a lot more flexibility, and that is when the Yankees are the strongest. But that being said, you can't lose games that you should win at any point in the season. And now it's been several games. There has been, until yesterday, zero sign of Williams figuring it out. Zero positive things for him to build off of. It's actually, before last night, in my opinion, he was looking worse and worse and worse with every outing. And the Yankees said, enough's enough. We're going to stop the bleeding because we have Luke Weaver on the staff, and he can close for us and get those wins for us right now until Williams is better. And then we will move forward. I think it was brilliantly executed on the part of the Yankees. I'm trying really hard not to go into a rant about how Devin Williams pisses me off, his attitude and all that stuff. If you know what I mean, like maybe for another time. I'm really trying to have a nice day, but he needs to fix his fucking attitude. He needs to focus on the team instead of himself. And I guarantee you, he will come out of this slump, he will come out of this funk, and he will be better for it.
I think Devin Williams, when the smoke is cleared, I think Devin Williams, his numbers will look more like what we're used to seeing from Devin Williams. You got to get some adjustment coming over National League to the American League. There's new hitters, there's new stadiums, so there's a lot of adjustment that goes on. But I'm with you, Grace. We need Devin Williams to step it up. His attitude. If you don't like his attitude, copy. Some people like it, some people hate it. But on Friday, right, when the Yankee fans were letting Devin Williams know how they felt, I was at that game, and I can tell you, the secondhand embarrassment, the uncomfortability. I was with Erica when it happened. When Devin Williams allowed the first 2 base runners to get on, I immediately went to Erica, her section, because she was sitting right below me. She was in the Delta suite. I was in the press box. So she was literally right underneath me. So it took me like 5 minutes to get to her. I went straight to her, and I was like, Erica, we're going to enjoy this together. And on the next pitch is when he hit that double, and the Yankee fans let Devin Williams know how they felt. And afterwards, Aaron Boone had a press game conference. I was able to get a question in, if you guys didn't know. So I'm going to play that video so you guys can see my question and Aaron Boone's response.
And got Bichette out. I felt pretty convicted on that being the end for him. But he was...
Right after this.
We get 5 shutout. We'll take that every time.
Middle on the left.
Aaron, how you doing? Hector Demotion with Latino Sports. On top of the velocity dip from Devin Williams, his cutter rate this year is just non-existent. Is that something that he just decided not to throw this year, or is there anything behind it?
No, I mean, it's just being able to get to those pitches, because again, he's been behind in counts and chasing counts. So, and some inconsistency with work and the start of the season, how it started. So, we're looking at everything.
Anyone else?
As I got to say, shout out to Ace, because I didn't even know like that the Yankees put that up there. It wasn't until Ace and my editor from Latino Sports messaged me with that clip. So shout out to my guy Ace. Shout out to everybody who hit me up that day as well. I sent it over to Grace and to her gave me some kudos on how I was able to ask Boone the question. But no,
my husband was like, Hector talks so fast. That was amazing. Hi, Hector Demotion with Latino Sports. I was wondering. I was like, he's a professional. He was like, did he practice that? I was like, I don't know.
Tend to, but no, shout out to everybody who was in the building. Again, like I said, shout out to everybody who hit me up. It's just a blessing to be able to as a Yankee content creator, to be a part of the press pool in order to ask Aaron Boone these questions. So I got to say, shout out to Latino Sports for giving me the opportunity. Guys, make sure you guys go to LatinoSports.com. The link to the website is always in the description of every live video that we do over here on the channel at Uptown Sports TV. Facts, Eddie. Your boy was flexing. Your boy was flexing, Eddie, 100%. But no, back to the conversation. Back to the conversation. Seeing what Boone responded to was Devin Williams. His control has been the biggest issue. He hasn't been able to find the strike zone consistently. Right. And if you're not finding the strike zone consistently, you're up your next pitch or your primary pitch, which is your changeup. If your fastball is not being located, regardless if you're throwing a cutter or you're throwing a four-seam fastball, if you're not throwing it consistently for a strike, they are not going to swing at your changeup. And you saw it in that first batter that Devin Williams faced yesterday. He threw a ball on the first pitch, but he was able to get back in, and he was able to get back into things, and he got the guy out on a strikeout, right? So again, kudos to Devin Williams. He came in. I know he's struggling. 1-2-3 inning. His first 1-2-3 inning as a New York Yankee. Hopefully this is something that he could build on, and we got to see more of this from Devin Williams.
Yeah. I mean, the first pitch of at-bats, he throws it, and it's outside. Ball 1. Okay, well, now you're in a 1-0 count, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to get him with the next one. Nope, still outside. Ball 2. And you're like, oh shit, now I'm in, you know what I mean? Now I'm in a 2-0 count and I'm going to throw the changeup, but they're not going to swing at it because I haven't been locating my fastball, and it just snowballs from there. So in the post-game interviews, he would say things like, oh, see, I'm mad. See, I'm mad about his attitude. I was about to impersonate him like this. Okay. Anyway, but it's more like, anyway. Oh my God! See,
I'm not sure if you saw if you saw it from. Did you see it from last night? Because I thought last night his conversation with Meredith in the post game was a lot better than what it was Friday.
So I went to.
There was a stark difference.
Okay, I want to see that, and I didn't.
I'll look for it. I'll look for it.
The last one that I saw was when Meredith was interviewing him, and he said, like, "Yeah, it's disappointing." That one I saw. That was where they had announced that he wasn't going to be the closer anymore, and he was like, yeah, it's disappointing, and I'm not really surprised. I saw that one, but I haven't seen one since then.
Okay, I can't find the one from last night, though.
Yeah, okay. I looked for it this morning, and I couldn't find it. But he blames sequencing, and I'm like, it ain't the sequencing, my guy, because you're trying to throw fastballs, you're just missing the zone. But he can't say, like, he couldn't take ownership for it and say, like, yeah, you know, it's not working right now. I know I can be better. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to be better. I want to help the team win. He hasn't said one word about the team in any of his post-game interviews. Not one word. And I've been watching for it, Hector. They said, oh, you know, how do you feel about the crowd chanting, "We want Weaver"? Everyone has their opinions. No. Luke Weaver is your teammate. You need to say something like, man, you know, Luke Weaver is a great reliever. I'm happy to be on the team with him. And if we can both help the team win at the end of the day, that's all we're here to do. Something like that. But no, not one positive thing about anyone else that he's worked with on the team, his catchers or anything else. He doesn't give any thought to anything but himself and his poor little pity party. I'm so over it. But I was glad to see that he had a nice little outing last night. Hopefully he can build on it and help the Yankees win. That's what I want. But he needs to adjust his attitude, or I'm going to adjust it for him. Okay?
You heard that. She said, I'm going to adjust your attitude for you. Shout out to Grace Monroe.
Oh, my God.
Also, shout out to the chat again. Guys, we got over 60 people in the building rocking out with us. If you guys can, keep on smacking that like button. The subscribe button. When it comes to subscribers, Grace Monroe, I got to tell you right now, we are sitting at 5,148 subscribers on the channel. So we appreciate all the new subscribers from the last time that we were on live. The subscribers keeps growing every week. So we definitely do appreciate you guys. If you guys can donate a $5 super chat, $10 super chat, it helps keeps the lights on over here at Uptown Sports TV. My guy Sean Browning says he was least taking accountability to some degree. Sean Browning to some degree. But I just want to play this as well. I was able to get a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And let me know, Grace, did Vlad want to punch me in the face after I asked him this question?
Hector Demotion con Latino Sports. Habla de lo clásico.
Bueno, ahora mismo no estoy pensando en el clásico, estoy pensando en mi temporada, en terminar mi temporada. Después que se acabe la temporada, sí hablaría del clásico.
He I felt like he wanted to punch me in the face by asking him that question. I was just asking you about the World Baseball Classic. My don't gotta get punched in the mouth.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know. I don't watch him enough to know his personality. You know, if that was a Yankee guy, I'd be able to be like, yeah, or yes or no. But
no, it's all jokes aside. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., thank you to Vlad, who took time to speak with all of the Latino journalists that were there. He literally took like 20 minutes before the game started, after he did his warm-ups, to speak with every Latino outlet, every Latino journalist that was there. So shout out to Vlad Guerrero Jr. for that. I know he just got the bag with the Toronto Blue Jays, and I'm happy he's staying in Toronto. I think that's good for baseball. When the homegrown talent can stay with the organization that drafted them, that scouted them, that signed them at a young age, I think it's great for the sport, and I'm happy that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is staying in Toronto. But let's switch gears, because we got to talk about El Capitan, number 99, Aaron Judge. JP Yankee Girl put it out there. Shout out to JP Yankee Girl, who says Aaron Judge has a hit in 25 of 29 games. He has reached base in 28 of 29 games. His on-base streak is now 25 games. Put some respect on my captain. I'm not sure if the average is updated. I think he has a 406, 411, 415 batting average. Whatever it is, Aaron Judge is him. Put some respect on his name.
I don't even know what to say anymore, Hector. Truly, like, what other flowers can we throw to Aaron Judge? Like, I mean, I was sitting there last night watching the game, and I was thinking, and I had a dark thought. Dark thoughts with Grace Monroe. And my dark thought was, someday Aaron Judge, give me some theme music. Someday Aaron Judge will not be on this team anymore.
Damn.
You see? It's
Damn.
a dark thought. It's a dark thought, because
Oh my God!
I'm telling you, someday he will not be on this team anymore, and the way that we are going to miss him, the way that the league is going to miss him, the way that people are going to look back in hindsight, the ones who weren't on the Aaron Judge train, the ones who are chanting overrated at him, ignorant assholes. The way that they're going to look back, it's going to be monumental. I mean, and that was my dark thought that I had last night when I was watching the game, because he is so incredible. Pitching has never been as good as it is now on the whole, across the league. The median of pitching is the best it's ever been. It's the hardest to hit that it's ever been. It's the fastest. It's the strongest. It's the hardest. It's the longest seasons. It's the most traveling that we've ever done. I can just keep throwing all these things out. And Aaron Judge is constantly up there with Barry Bonds, Ted Williams. I mean, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, the best hitters to ever do it, but not under these circumstances. Aaron Judge is doing what's never, ever been done because of the era that he's playing in, the way that he's playing. I mean, he's the best. He's the GOAT. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. No, 100%. And
I mean,
shout out to Caleb Vasquez in the chat with the $5 super chat, helping us keep the lights on over here at Uptown Sports TV. Caleb, I appreciate you, my guy. Caleb says the World Baseball Classic next year is going to be so fire. I need that Judge USA jersey. You heard? Absolutely. I'm going to be rocking my PR jersey all day, every day. I'm going to be sleeping in that shit. I'm going to be bathing in that shit. I'm going to be taking naps in it all day, every day. I will be down there covering the World Baseball Classic in Miami. So keep a lookout for that one. I can't wait for it next year. But no, shout out to my guy, Caleb Vasquez. The Ace Avenue just said, hello, darkness, my old friend, to Grace's point. And you know what, Grace, at some point, that's going to happen. Aaron Judge won't be playing for the New York Yankees. Just like at one point, we had to come to the realization that Derek Jeter may not be a New York Yankee going forward in the future, right? So there's a lot that is going on when it comes to reality outside of baseball, right? Us baseball fans, we fall in love with this game as young children. We fall in love with this game with Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Mariano, Jorge Posada, Andy Pettitte. And at some time in our lives, they retired and we had to grow up and become adults and we had to pay bills and we had to.
Yeah, it sucks.
Shit sucks, right? But right now, we're going to go through it with Aaron Judge. I'm just blessed to say that in the 35 years that I've been on this earth, I've been able to not only watch Derek Jeter and those great Yankees, but I get to watch Aaron Judge, right? My nephew gets to enjoy Aaron Judge. What Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams was to me when I was young is what Aaron Judge is to my nephew right now, who is falling in love with this game. So I think that's very important. All you Yankee fans, all you baseball fans that are in the chat, throw some W's in the chat. We got over 60 people in the building rocking out with us. We got over 40 people watching on YouTube. If you guys can, smack the like button on YouTube. We need to try to get as many likes as we can. If you can interact with the emojis that's on the YouTube chat, it helps us out when it comes to the algorithm and getting more baseball fans into the conversation. But we got a guest today, right? I reached out to somebody that I've been following on TikTok for some while. Their account is Hey Comey. All right, their name is Joel. I have him backstage. Joe, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out with me and Grace Monroe. Let me switch up the setup and let's bring up our guy Joe to the conversation. Joe, good morning. How you doing?
Not too bad. How you guys doing today?
Excellent,
Hey,
excellent.
Joe.
Hey, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes. But well, listen, you just came back. Like I said, I followed your content for quite a while on my other backup page outside of Uptown Sports TV, and you put out amazing content. I just got to give you credit for that. For the people to chat that don't know who you are, let them know who you are, what's your baseball fandom, how long you've been doing this as a content creator. Just give some background story, bro. As I'm gonna drop the link to your TikTok in the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I started kind of doing content back in 2021. My big thing was kind of foreign substance. Foreign substance had kind of taken over the game at that point, and it was when it comes to like standard fan bases and everything like that. My mindset was when you have foreign substance, and it had taken over the game to the point where strikeouts were just it was insane. There were so many strikeouts happening in the game. All you were seeing were guys coming up to the plate, seeing 3 or 4 pitches and then walking back to the dugout. And the game had lost its back and forth flavor. It had lost, and it's not just pitching duels. I'm not like against pitching duels or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But the fact that offense was strictly between the pitcher and defense, the pitching side of things was strictly between the pitcher and the catcher. There were no amazing plays being made in the field, no amazing double plays being turned, no diving catches being made. The game had almost become, if you're familiar with like Bull Durham, when Crash Davis comes out to the mound and he goes, "Hey, stop trying to strike everybody out. That's fascist. Throw some ground balls. It's more democratic." That was kind of my mentality of things, right? Like the game had become such a specific instance of pitcher, catcher, batter striking out or walking. And then also you had seen a big uptick in hit by pitch, which was crazy because what was happening with pitches is like 2-seam fastballs now were breaking in completely different directions instead of down and in. They were catching the wind with their increased spin rate, and they were coming up into players' faces. You saw Bryce Harper take one in the face, Kevin Pillar take one in the face. Like a lot of guys were taking really bad hit by pitches because of the jacked up increased spin rate. And so it wasn't just that the pitchers had gotten more effective. It's that there were injuries happening that were something that you just don't want to see. The star players of the game were going down. And when you get those types of injuries, you get like if you go back to, I don't want to talk Red Sox on a Yankees podcast, but Tony Conigliere is a guy who took one in the face, ended his career. Kirby Puckett took one famously in the face at the end of his career, probably ended his career. But situations like that, you just don't want to see it in the game. You want to see the players being healthy. You want to see your stars on the field. So my push was kind of to point out pitchers that were using it, showcase that had blown up kind of across the league for about 11 weeks, 3 months. That content really, really blew up, and the game kind of stepped in because it was so obvious that the pitchers were doing something. The videos that I were making were showing visual examples of them going into the glove, pulling out foreign substance,
Mhm.
and then I was able to back it up with Baseball Savant fan graph numbers showing
Yeah.
spiked spin rates. And that's not something that you can very easily increase 30%. If you've been pitching, your entire life, you don't just magically jack up your RPM by 300, 400, 500 RPM at any
100%.
That's not something you can really
100%.
establish.
And as a Yankee fan, right? We got Garrett Cole, Daddy Cole, who was the poster child and the face for the sticky substance. Can you just give us some insight on that with Garrett Cole, and then I'll kick it over to Grace Monroe. Folks in the chat as well, if you have any questions for our guest, bro, just drop it in the chat. We'll pull it up on the screen as well. So go ahead, bro. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. So Garrett obviously was using something, but like let's give him some credit. A lot of pitchers were not able to recover from foreign substance being taken away from them. When Garrett won a Cy Young clean after foreign substance, that Cy Young win of his was him integrating a cutter, going and obviously in Houston and maybe that first year with the Yankees, he was a little bit bolstered by some substance, but I don't go after individual players so much. Like I went after it from a MLB standpoint. Like every single team I had exposed probably 2 or 3 different pitchers from every single team. So obviously Garrett Cole was the poster child of it. But at the end of the day, he's probably one of the pitchers who remedied his scenario the best, having won a Cy Young, having been the best pitcher of the year without using that stuff. So to his credit, he was just following a trend that had taken over baseball. And I don't really blame pitchers for doing it, if that makes sense. Like pitchers were doing it, but in 2019, Major League Baseball's, they augmented the ball. They bought Rawlings and they owned their means of production when it came to baseballs. And you saw that uptick in home runs in 2019. You saw balls that were going 92 miles an hour off the bat opposite field and clearing the fence by 15 feet. The sport had drastically changed. So pitchers, what are they going to do? They're going to find a solution, and they did. And so Garrett Cole, like you said, poster child of it, but also probably the best redemption story in that entire scenario, having totally just changed the way that he pitched, a little bit more ground balls, his strikeout rate. He was striking out 320 in Houston. Yeah. 250 is still a pretty good number, and he's still leading the league in strikeouts. So, give him all the credit.
Us Yankee fans saw Gleyber Torres turn into Barry Bonds the year that the Bulls were juiced, and he was never the same after that. I'll kick it over to my co-host Grace Monroe to get her insight on the conversation. As we keep it going, I got a question in the chat from my guy Jason. But go ahead, Grace. And then I got one more person that I want to bring up to the convo. Our guy JV from Diamond Discussion. So go ahead, Grace, while I bring up JV.
How dare you bring up Gleyber Torres and throw it over to me? Yeah, I'm not taking that bait today, Hector. Actually, I'm not going to talk about Gleyber Torres. But yeah, Garrett Cole, he's the best. In case you don't know, he's my favorite Yankee. I just love him. He can do no wrong to me. But talking about the spider tack, and I didn't know we were going to have like Mr. Spidergate himself on our show today, so what an honor. But talking about the spider tack, and now that it is gone, and the rise in Tommy John surgery, the rise in injury, and the pitchers are blaming the lack of tack on the ball as what is causing these injuries, that they're having to grip the ball harder in order to create the movement on their ball, on their pitches, and that's why they're saying that they're getting more injuries. And Garrett Cole, for example, pitched the whole time, never had a Tommy John, and now all of a sudden, a couple years without spider tack, and he's having a Tommy John. And he's not the only one. There are lots of pitchers across the league. They've talked about possibly implementing a sticky ball. Maybe that would help, or a speed limit. What do you think about some options there to help pitchers maybe circumvent the injuries, or do they just need to not throw as hard?
That's the one.
You think? Well, then they're going to get hit more. They don't like that answer.
I get that. I get that. We pay. What's really, really funny is that I'm on both sides of the equation because I'm a screenwriter. That's my day-to-day job, and I have the story rights for the Tommy John movie. So I'm equally tied into both sides of this equation, right? The foreign substance side and the Tommy John side. Tommy and I are good friends. I have his story rights. We're actually pitching it to Happy Madison right now to try to turn that into a feature.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. But to me, the way that the math of the situation, the way it works is that if you throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, you're putting 40 psi on your ulnar collateral ligament. 40 psi to 96% of the population is going to blow that UCL out in one pitch. If we just were able to throw one pitch that way, 96% of our arms would just blow up instantaneously. So it takes a freak of nature to be able to throw a ball consistently at that velocity. Now something else that we're seeing, originally, like triple digit pitches, 100-mile-an-hour plus pitches were forcing fastballs. Now we're seeing 100-mile-an-hour splitters. We're seeing 100-mile-an-hour two-seamers. We're seeing 100-mile-an-hour cutters. We're seeing pitches. We're seeing sliders that are 93. We're seeing changeups that are 92. We're seeing pitches. Everything is upticked in velocity. And what pitchers want to do in this day and age is throw a ball that does not touch the bat. Okay. That's their goal. Their goal is whiff rate, K rate, FIP, right? That's their goal nowadays. In the 80s and the 90s, it was weak contact. And weak contact led to less pitches being thrown and pitchers going deeper into games. Guys like Tommy John, for example, he got by on a two-seam fastball that he threw for ground balls and a curveball. Greg Maddux, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, a pitcher's pitcher, was getting by on 90 miles an hour, right? Because that was pitcher savvy, right? Nowadays, we're not teaching the chess game of pitching as much. Everything is high velo, high spin rate, tunneling, and velos that have just upticked. Now, do I believe that obviously the training and the technology has gotten players better, but I believe that pitchers pretty much across all generations could have thrown 100, but they knew that velocity was going to take them out of the game, right? And when Tommy John wasn't so prolific of a surgery, they knew that when their arms blew up, that was the end of their career. Their career was over. There was no coming back from that. So a guy like Tommy John, when he had the injury himself, that was a 13-year buildup. That was 45 cortisone injections. That was him. Yeah, that's right. That's pretty crazy to think. So he's sitting there and he's numbing that ligament every single time he goes out. And he's pretty much dulling the pain, but he's consistently building up that injury to the point where it exploded. Now we've got guys like Ben Joyce throwing 105.5. Aroldis Chapman's a freak, by the way, to be able to do what he's done for this amount of time, to still be throwing 103, 104 in Boston. But
yeah, I just got to say, Aroldis Chapman is probably one of the only players in Major League Baseball that's around from when I was in high school. That's how he's been doing it. My fault, Joe. Go ahead.
No worries. So what I was saying was that Tommy John, in its inception, when it happened, was more so the pitchers who would suffer the injury was a buildup. It was like a 10, 12-year buildup. The more that they pitched, eventually that arm would blow up. Now we're at the point where we're putting so much pressure into every single pitch. Every single pitch is fundamentally like 10 years of pitching, and any single pitch could blow that arm out. So I really feel like we're at a stage where Tommy Johns are they're happening so often. We're seeing one of the best pitchers every single year go down to this injury, which is terrible. But a guy like DeGrom has come back, and he understands that pursuit of 100-mile-an-hour average fastball, it made him elite. It made him deadly, but inconsistent when it came to getting to 32 starts, 200 innings. So I feel like there needs to be this sweeping mindset of, hey, you can go out there and give every single thing that you got on every single pitch, but how is your body going to be able to withstand that? And is there more that you need to focus on when it comes to change-ups, properly locating pitches that are lower velocity, that don't have so much damaging effect on your arm? that keeps you out there, because anything above 95 miles an hour on any single pitch is causing damage. And you have to be a freak of nature. You have to be a Nolan Ryan to be able to go 20 plus years and not have your arm out.
And to your point, back in the day, you know, I remember when I was watching baseball in late 90s, early 2000s, if you had a guy that was throwing 95, 99, or 100 miles per hour, he was a unicorn. Like Aroldis Chapman, when he came into the league, he was a unicorn. Like it was not that many people were throwing 100 miles per hour. Nowadays, it seems like every team, they have at least one or two guys coming out of that bullpen throwing 100, 101, 102. I want to kick it over to my guy, JV. I had to tap in to the Italian stallion from Staten Island, my brother JV. JV, how you feeling on this beautiful Tuesday?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
Awesome, brother.
Listen, I think with this whole pitching thing, when it comes to like injuries, like you said, Joel, with DeGrom specifically, I remember when DeGrom had his third or fourth injury, and it put him out for a season. I think it was the year before he went to Texas, and I forget if it was an interview or an article that I had saw that he had a quote. And he said that the Mets trainers and pitching staff and coaches were trying to get him to dial back on the fastball. He was actually telling them, I don't know how to dial back. I naturally throw 99. I can't force myself to throw 94, 95. I can't put myself in a position to dial back the fastball 4 or 5 miles an hour. And like you said, now it's becoming a thing where there's so many guys doing it, and you need to be at the top of your game. And to be at the top of your game, you need to be at 99, 100. And you're going to fall back in terms of competition. Now, I think personally, it's the breaking pitches. I think it's the splitters, the sliders, the changeups that are being thrown with the exact same velocity. I think that's where it's the problem. If you want to groove fastballs all day, you could throw 100 miles an hour and you could throw 50, 60 fastballs, and you'll probably be fine. When you mix in a changeup, a slider, a splitter, a curve, that's more torque on the elbow on top of that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Those changeups, those curves, those sliders, they used to be 80, 85. That was a good, that was a pretty decent speed on those breaking pitches. Now you got guys that come in right out of spring training, right out of AAA, AA, prospects. They're throwing that slider 99 miles an hour. So I think it's the breaking pitches now added on top of the fastball that's what's hurting these guys. But you want those guys that swing and miss, you got to throw your breaking pitches at 98, 99 just as much as your fastball.
Yeah, and I think it comes quite alarming. Folks, also, we got 80 people in the building watching us. If you guys can, keep on tapping that screen. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys are following everybody that is on the panel. Obviously, Grace Monroe on Twitter, our guy Joe and JV. Make sure you guys follow them on TikTok. I dropped Joe's link to his TikTok in the chat. But also, guys, if you're enjoying this conversation, share this out on any social fan pages. Share us out as well. We want more fans into the conversation. Go ahead, Joe. I'll throw it back to you.
No, I completely agree with that mindset of the breaking pitches being the wrist snap, right? The four-seam fastball is that. Let's see if I can get it without the blur. The four-seam fastball doesn't have that torquing of the wrist, and that torque of the wrist comes all the way down. It's always a forearm injury that precedes the UCL tear, and it's that motion of trying to throw maximum velo and then twist it. And seeing 95, 96 mile an hour sliders are, don't get me wrong, they're amazing to see. They're amazing to watch. You watch Pitching Ninja and you see these balls that have 22 inches of horizontal break, and you're like, wow, they're throwing wiffle balls up there. But
it's like a real life video game at this point.
Yeah,
exactly. And but like you said, JV, I do believe, like I was saying, four-seam fastballs were the only pitches that you're seeing hitting triple digits. Now you're seeing all these secondary pitches hitting triple digits. And the other thing is that if you look at the graphs of like fastballs, I'm going to try to do it in front of my face without the blur. Fastballs have ticked down in usage consistently over the last 5-10 years. Every breaking pitch is on their way up. There's no standard, hey, 3-1 count, you're going to see a fastball. That doesn't exist anymore. That standard mentality of the game, of the way that you would, hey, fastball early in counts to get ahead. No, it's sliders that are down and away, hitting that perfect corner. First pitch, second pitch, third pitch. Like, they've gotten away kind of from fastball usage, and it's all, they don't want to throw anything straight in modern day baseball. Everything has to have some sort of break to it. And that's, don't get me wrong. The success that pitchers are having is creating a new dead ball era in baseball, right? The tunneling, all of the slow motion that they have to be able to gear up their repertoire and knowing the knowledge that they're coming into a game with and their ability to execute is absolutely exceptional. It's only climbed. But like you said, those other pitches that require a lot more wrist torque are probably what's leading to this massive epidemic.
And just one more thing. I think if the league started telling guys, hey, we want you to dial back your fastball, it's just going to be it's batting practice at that point. You can't tell a guy who's throwing 99, hey, dial it back 4 or 5 miles an hour. These guys go to batting practice and they're warming up at 95 to face that 100-mile-an-hour pitch just so they get broken in. Now, if that doesn't happen and you got guys throwing 94, 95, it's gonna be like golf at that point. It's just gonna be see the ball, hit the ball. So and how do you tell an 18-year-old kid who's being scouted, hey, you throw 100? Oh, you got to stop that. It's too natural of a thing to tell this 18 or 19-year-old, hey, you got to stop throwing hard because you're gonna get hurt in 5 or 6 years.
And that's where the issue is, AV, right? I make my point, I'll throw it back over to Grace, but that's where the issue lies. And maybe Joel can agree with me. When you look at it, it goes back all the way. It's a systemic issue that you need to just pull back that thread and see where it leads you to. When it comes to travel baseball, when you have these young kids that are pitching 2 or 3 times a week, throwing 100 pitches each start that they go out there, right? 3 times a week, 300 pitches a week, that's going to lead to elbow issues as that kid get older. Also, when you have scouts, when they're training kids not to pitch, they're not teaching these kids, you got to pitch east to west, north to south, navigate the strike zone like that. They're teaching these kids, listen, if you want to get scouted, you need go fast and you need to throw with high heat, and that's what they're teaching these kids. And all of these pitchers that are in Major League Baseball right now, you see all of them that are coming through the minor league system. There's a reason why injuries are on the uptick. At a young age, they're putting too much wear and tear into their elbow when they're teenagers, right? This wasn't happening back in the day. They didn't have travel baseball in the 90s like it is right now. Travel baseball in 2025, it's a big time business. People make money off of this, right? People make careers off of this. They use these young kids to monopolize them, to use them for their resume, to get hired into this college programs, to get hired into the development program for the academies, this, that, and the third. And then when you get to the major league level, it's more of a systemic issue, right? Because Major League Baseball, their whole motto is they're a business that's for profit. They're trying to maximize the talent from these pitchers as much as they can at the earliest that they can. Because when you look at it, you got 6 years before you reach free agency. If you have a starting pitcher that could throw 100 miles per hour, you're going to try to maximize that over the next 4, 5, 6 years, as long as you have this young pitcher for a cheap contract, arbitration years, whatever you want to put into it. After that kid blows out his elbow and he reaches free agency, it makes it easier for the team to re-sign him on a cheaper value. So the teams aren't going into their good face perspective, if you get what I'm trying to say. They're just trying to maximize the ability of these players at a very young age for the most that they can get out of them, if that kind of makes any sense, Joe.
Oh, no, it absolutely makes sense. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that we're at a day and age where we see pitchers routinely running up 70, 80 pitches by the 5th inning, right? If that makes sense. Like, you're seeing, because you hunt strikeouts, you're also walks come into play, right? So you see a lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks. When you're not attacking outs with every single pitch the way that they used to for 100 years, the way that they attack contact, the way that Greg Maddux could get a complete game with 90 pitches, right? It's the amount of effort that you're putting in there is drastically increased because you are afraid to have those hitters make contact with the ball. And the stat that I think has really taken over the mentality of pitching is FIP. Fielder independent pitching, right? And it's just that, just say it like, oh, wait, we're going to judge you removing the concept of fielding. So when they do that, you're trying to be everything by yourself. You're not trying to put the onus on your team. You're not trying to put that ball in the field. And obviously the way that the uptick in swing and miss leads to the only way that you can kind of really succeed in Major League Baseball now is hunting extra base hits. launch angle, going for home runs, right? If there's so many more strikeouts now, you can't string together 4 or 5 hits to get an inning going. You don't want 4 or 5 base hits. You want to walk, a base hit, and a jack, right? You want to string that together. You want those home runs coming at as often as possible, because that's how we score runs in Major League Baseball. If you don't out home run your opponent, you probably lose. So that approach, it's back and forth. The hitters are trying to hit everything deep. You don't have too many Tony Gwynns. You got Luis Arise, but you don't really have that opposite field approach. Maybe James Wood, but like he's hitting bombs the opposite field.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. But that mentality, it's always hitter pitcher. It's the pitcher does something, the hitter has to counteract that, then the pitcher has to counteract it again, right? And it's constantly a back and forth a chess game. And I really feel like, how do you just sit there and say, because we pay for strikeouts, we pay for low FIP, we pay for guys who K 15, 16 per 9, right? Like, you know, that's what they want. They want Josh Haders, they want Edwin Diaz, they want guys who come out there and just strike out the side, and there's never an opportunity for any offense to come from it, because if guys aren't touching the ball, they're not putting any runs on the board. So it's almost a backwards mentality, and you're going to have to see success from pitchers who take a different route in how they pursue this game, right? The way that you said, you've got 6 years of you're owned by a team for 6 years. They're going to use you. They're going to use you up. And when you look at pitchers get to 30, 31, it used to be like pitchers were losing their stuff at 37, 36, 37. Now you see guys who throw a bunch, get to 31, 32, and their fastballs start to dip. Everything starts to dip really, really soon now. It used to be, I don't know, back when we were young, I think that they used to say that 31 was a pitcher's prime. We used to see guys rip like I don't think Randy Johnson won 4 Cy Youngs in a row after 34, right? Like you were seeing guys dominant because they were able to keep themselves intact and then build their pitching knowledge as they came along. So they get 30, 31, 32, and that's where they would be in their prime. But nowadays, with guys coming up, you seeing collegiate guys, young guys, 21, 22, throwing 100, they're up. They bring them up right away, and they start milking that cow as hard and quickly as they possibly can. And that cow runs out of milk by the time he's 28, 29, because you only have so many bullets in your gun. That's a tried, tested, and true statement of baseball. There's only so many bullets that you have in that shoulder and in that arm before it blows up. We do have a freak surgery that can bring you back, but the more times that you have it, the less dependable you are. Like 90% success rate on that first Tommy John. That second Tommy John is down to like 20-30% success rate.
There's less than a handful of pitchers that's gotten that second Tommy John that's been able to come back and be as effective or close to what they were prior to that second Tommy John. Host Grace Monroe to get her take and on the conversation. As folks, again, keep on tapping that screen, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, Grace.
It's just, you can't blame the kids because they want to play in the bigs. They want to get their money. They want to get paid. What we're talking about is a systemic change that's going to happen over a period of time that these players can't afford to wait. They only have 10 years, maybe 12 years to be able to pitch at a high level in Major League Baseball. And they're thinking, well, you know, it'd be great if I didn't have to get a Tommy John and I could pitch less velo, or I could, you know, not try to do all these things and have a longer career, but I'm not going to get a job. So I need to throw harder so I can get a job first. And it's just like, how do you get the owners to change, or how do you get the GMs to change? How do you get the front offices to change who they're hiring? And like we said, they're not looking out for the best interests of the pitchers. They're looking out for the best interests in their bottom dollar, right? And their money and their entertainment that they're trying to provide their fans, which equates to the dollar. So the only people who are trying to look out for the pitchers are the pitchers themselves. And the pitchers themselves, the unions, whatever, they are saying, we need the sticky stuff. We need a sticky ball. We need help. We can't do this. If you want the injuries to be less, these are the tools that we need. And then the hitters and the rest of the union and the owner and all these people, they're saying no. And so we're kind of at an impasse here. I don't know what the way forward is. There must be some sort of compromise that can be struck in the interim of the new trend that we all see that's going to have to eventually happen, but it's going to take time.
Yeah, definitely is. Joe, what's your take on that? And I'll let you go so it could be your last take before we let you go, because we got to start wrapping things up, and I want to get back to the Yankee convo with JV. So let's get your final take when the conversation. Again, thank you so much. I know I reached out to you over the past 2 weeks to make this happen. We definitely have to do this again on a longer format because this conversation is very juicy. I appreciate you. And if you need any PAs on set to help bring coffee when you do that Tommy John movie, just let me know. I'm right there.
No, absolutely. I'll definitely keep you in mind for that.
If you need any Puerto Rican extras on the side playing dominoes, holla at me. You feel me?
No, absolutely. No, that sounds great. I was just going to say to Grace's point, when it comes to foreign substance and the sticky stuff, as long as it's a unified across the league substance, right? The issue with foreign substance when it was happening was that there was a percentage of pitchers that were using it and a percentage of pitchers that felt like it was cheating, right? So it was that mixture of like, well, here are the guys that don't want to do this. And and they're the ones who are being punished. They're the ones who are being dropped. They're the ones who are being pressured into doing something that they look at the game and go, well, this is wrong. This is cheating. I'm not going to do this. But in the same point, I'm suffering for it, watching other pitchers do it. Right. So it would probably seem from a big standpoint that I'm completely against foreign substance. My mentality is get hitters together. Get the 10, 15 best hitters together, the 10, 15 best pitchers together, sit them down, find a unified substance that everybody can agree on, right?
Facts.
This substance gives you the control that you want to be able to hold onto the ball. You can throw your pitches the way that you want to, but you're not skyrocketing your spin rate. I don't want to see guys whose 2250 four-seam fastball suddenly sitting at 2,700 RPM, right? Like right? But I do want to see something where, hey, guess what? The league upticks their spin rate, maybe 100 RPM on average, but they feel like they've got the control. And the hitters agree, hey, this is still... Obviously, hitters are going to be like, nothing, don't put anything on the ball. But as long as you can find that middle ground of what you want to use, right? That's all I'm asking for. And then as long as all pitchers are able to use it, then it's not put into that scenario of being cheating, right? Like it's not pitching is not some sort of chemistry battle of sitting there and finding the right, I've got the best substance, so I'm going to Bauer. Right. Bauer went out there his year in Cincinnati. He put up insane numbers using spider tag. Take that away from him. Spin rate drops consistently. I don't want that outlier being there and guys dominating the game. I just want something standard. I don't care if it's the rosin bag or something superior to the rosin bag, but just put one unified thing behind the mound. And if they're not using that and they're using something else, that's cheating. But as long as we can come to an agreement on what that substance is, I'm all for it.
I think that's a great point and really, really important to say. I'm glad you made that last point, Joel. That was great.
Thank you so much.
Joe, it's like pine tar. It's like pine tar on a baseball bat, right? If you're an offensive guy, you want to be able to grip the bat the best way. So, like you said, you want to have a universal substance to make sense.
That's right.
Yeah, no, 100%. One last question from the chat before we let you go. My guy to Ace Avenue, who's a dope Yankee content creator, who says, how much blame do you give MLB? Because everything is go out there and throw as hard as you can, and we're just going to the bullpen early. How much blame do you give to Major League Baseball behind this whole situation before we let you go, Joe?
I give a lot of blame for the way that they took control of the baseballs. And they created that 2019 epidemic of home runs and pitchers having to counteract that. I also I don't want to say blame, but if you go back to 1975 when the radar gun came into play, all of a sudden the way that we scout shifted from watching the pitcher and watching the outcome on the field to looking at a number on a gun. And then that then changed to pitch tracks. And looking at a screen, we're no longer looking at a guy on the mound pitching and the success that they have out there. We're looking at vertical break, horizontal break, spin rate, velocity. We're looking at a bunch of numbers, and we're making judgment calls on success based off of those numbers. And those numbers, the higher they are, the more that we pay, the more skill that we think that you have, and the more value you garner, right? So to me, I think that when I say that that's the league, I think that's more so coaching staffs, scouts, and the way that we hunt talent, right? The way that we hunt talent, it used to be, if you go to Moneyball and the backwards mentality that they say, they're like, oh, this guy's got a good feel, this guy's got a good look, and all of that stuff. Remember, I think they went a little bit too far on the analytical push to what a good ball player is, and a little bit of that standard feel of what a baseball player has been lost on how to scout somebody that doesn't. This guy, hey, he throws 89 to 92, but he gets outs, right? That has kind of been lost because we're pretty much not allowing that guy to even exist anymore. We're saying you got to throw 96. So he's going to go out there and try to uptick every single part of himself. Maybe he can't do that, and he's out, and you never see that guy having success in Major League Baseball. So to me, yeah, it's a mixture of the league, the way that we scout players, and the way that we reward players. It's these new stats that have come in, K rate, FIP, and all the horizontal break and all that stuff, as opposed to just going out there and getting outs, right? Because that's the most important thing as a pitcher is, can you get outs? It doesn't really, I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you're a knuckleballer like Tim Wakefield going up there and floating balls up over the plate at 78 miles an hour. Greinke at the end of his career started to hunt low velocity, right? He started to see how slowly he could throw a pitch over the mound, right? And so there's, to me, an element of the game that has kind of been lost with this pursuit of high performance. And I would kind of put the blame more there than just like, Rob Manfred, I guess.
Yeah, Joel, appreciate you. Thank you for taking time this morning. We definitely have to do this on a longer format. Appreciate you as well. Folks in the chat, make sure you guys go and follow Joel Hey_Comey on TikTok for some great baseball knowledge and great baseball insight as well. Joe, appreciate you, my guy.
Nice to meet you, Hector. Nice to meet you, JV. Grace,
Nice
it was
to meet you,
absolute
brother.
pleasure. Anytime you guys want me back, I'll be here.
All right.
Definitely appreciate you. Folks in the chat, make sure you guys go and follow our guy. Hey, it's Comey over there on TikTok. Like I said, Joe puts out amazing content. Like I said, I've been following for quite a while, and he does great work over there.
I just want to say, I think he
Go
might
ahead,
be
Grace.
an undercover Red Sox fan. I smell it. I smell it on him. I'm telling you. He's welcome to come back here, and he's a nice guy, but I smell a little Red Sox Boston action on that guy. Am I crazy?
I wasn't going to say anything. He did bring up a Red Sox player earlier in the conversation to start it off multiple times. But shout out to Comey. Even if he's a Red Sox fan, he's still good over here. But JV, I see you got some merch on your head, bro. Show the merch off. Let the people know where they could cop that dope fire hat.
So me and Roro, we're gonna start. We were just testing it out because we wanted to make sure everything was good quality and stuff like that. But we're gonna set up a link and we're gonna start producing the merch out. So this is just one of the hats from the podcast, and we have shirts that we made. So like I said, we were just testing it out. I ordered like 15 of them just to see if they were good or not. So we're gonna get that rolling very, very soon.
Nice. Shout out to Mikey Caliendo in the chat, my guy Roro, who says he's from Canada. He's actually a Blue Jays fan.
Okay.
Thank you, Roro, for
That's
for
nice.
clarifying that.
That's
But
just a little better.
let's get back to the Yankee conversation, right? And we got to start it off with DJ LeMahieu. La Máquina is on his way back to save the Yankee season. DJ LeMahieu in his full week of rehab with the Somerset Patriots. The man was 6 for 10. He had 1 home run, 3 RBIs. The Máquina, he plays second base. I think he played 1 game at third base, but majority was at second base, was looking really good from a fielding perspective. The lateral movement looked like it was there. Left and right, he was able to move with no problem. Grace, I'm going to toss it over to you. Lead us in the conversation for DJ Máquina.
Okay, I have something that's kind of related, but also kind of not, and it's your fault for throwing it to me first. But I saw a picture of DJ LeMahieu in his rehab assignment, and his uniform said the Diners, and I'm like, who the hell are the Diners? So I go down this rabbit hole about who are the Diners, and apparently, if you don't know, I'm here to tell you, It's an alternate jersey for the Patriots, like City Connect style.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to represent the state of New Jersey, which I didn't know this, but apparently they have 1 million diners, and it's like a diner everywhere, and it's like a Jersey thing to like have a diner. And I had no idea. So I'm reading all about, and then I click on like the state of New Jersey website, and I'm reading about the history of diners in New Jersey. I'm like, wow, I didn't know this was a thing, but I thought he looked very cute in his little diner's uniform. And it looked like a 1950s, like, and they have, and by the way, they have dope merch for the diners. The hats like have like a little coffee cup.
It's dope.
Coffee cup with like a little hat on, and they got like pancakes, and the butter is a baseball on the top of the pancakes, and they have bacon and eggs, and the bacon is in the shape of New Jersey. It's like really cute. I'm sorry that this is a tangent, but anyway, DJ LeMahieu doing great for the diners and the Patriots.
I gotta say, shout out to Jersey for having all these when Grace comes up to the tri-state, we're gonna take her to Jersey. We're gonna go on a Jersey diner vlog with Grace Monroe. JV, I want to toss it over to you. Let's get your conversation. Let's get your take on DJ LeMahieu and your favorite diner food if you have one.
I'm a simpleton, bro. It's a burger for me. Bacon cheeseburger with cheese fries. But listen, I know we've all talked our smack about DJ LeMahieu, right? Before he got hurt, he was not producing, right? And New Yorkers, we want instant gratification. We want, especially a guy like him, batting title, was phenomenal in the field, could play 3 different positions, was going the other way. He looked kind of Jeter-esque when it came to his, his style at the plate, the in and out swing. Then he gets hurt, and it was kind of downhill from there. I want the best for DJ LeMahieu, right? I don't want to see this guy just wither away. We got 2 years left in his deal. Do I think we're going to get the best of him? No. But whatever juice is left in that orange, I'd love to squeeze out of it. Hopefully, he could come back and he can make an impact. It's another veteran presence. I know we're really struggling for a right-handed bat. He's another guy that's a right-handed bat. I know Stanton is somewhere waiting in the wings as well when it comes to helping the offense out. But I really think DJ could help us defensively, especially. He's a veteran presence, and if he could get his bat going, that'll be really helpful for guys like Judge, for guys like Goldschmidt. It just offers extra protection. Maybe it even help a guy like Bellinger who's struggling right now. I think it's going to affect guys like Volpe, and it's going to affect guys like Jazz in that lineup as well, because I'm not really sure where they're going to put DJ. Probably 7, 8, 9, somewhere in the bottom of the order, just so he get his feet wet and come back and kind of gracefully, be comfortable again. But I really want the best for this guy. I'm a fan, right? I'm a fan of the team. Obviously, I get my points where I'm feeling, disappointed, upset, frustrated. But the guy's still on our team. He's got 2 years left on his deal, and we're gonna, like I said, whatever juice is in that orange that we could squeeze out, I'll be happy, because if we could get decent ball out of him for the next 2 years, then it's almost like a win-win.
Yeah, I'm right there with you when it comes to DJ LeMahieu. Like you said, the injuries after he signed that extension, obviously many Yankee fans weren't in love with it. You can't blame a guy for Father Time or his body breaking down on him. It's just after he signed that 5-year extension, immediately getting the hip surgery was not a good look. He looks like he's fully healthy. I know it's AA. I know it's in the minors. I get that. I understand that. But he looks like he is completely healthy. If we don't have to get DJ LeMahieu who won batting titles. We don't need that. If you could be DJ LeMahieu who can hit 250, 260, play some solid defense at your position, whether that's second or third base, rotating around, I would take that. I want to keep Jazz Chisholm at second base. I'm not saying let's give up on Jazz Chisholm. I'm sticking with Jazz at second base. But if they go to bring DJ LeMahieu back, it's to be in a platoon role. You let him play third base when you need him to play third base. And when you have him playing second base, let that be the time that you rest Jazz Chisholm for a rest. DJ LeMahieu in 2025 is not an everyday player. He is a fill-in guy who can spot in 2 days, 3 days out of the week at third base and 1 or 2 days at second base. That is what DJ LeMahieu is right now. He played 3 games and he only got 10 at-bats. Normally, if you play 3 games, you get 4 at-bats each game. So that means that they took him out early in the game to preserve his legs because he's coming back from an injury.
Do y'all remember that commercial with Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge where I think it was like a cell phone commercial and they were on the phone and Giancarlo was like, man, I can't get it together. What do you do? And Aaron Judge is like, boop, 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 and I go to, and I played it. And the joke was that Giancarlo thought he heard Aaron Judge say to go play against Little Leaguers. And that wasn't what he said. You remember what I'm talking about? And it was like, and then the next scene, Giancarlo is like hitting bombs off Little League pitchers, and the Little Leaguers are like, oh man. And Giancarlo's like trotting around the bases to get his confidence. Y'all remember this commercial? Y'all let me die out here on this branch alone. Y'all,
no,
please
I'm right. Listen, this is how much I remember. This is how much I remember it. I found it for you.
Thank God. Yeah, play this, please. Help me out. Oh,
I can't play. I can't play the audio because we got to get hit with copyright. But yeah, you can keep talking. It's mute.
Yeah, that's the commercial. Okay, so that's what DJ LeMahieu is doing right now, effectively, right? He's playing against AA pitching as a veteran guy, and even though he's been injured, and even though you see the kid, and Giancarlo's like dunking on him, like, okay, this is what DJ LeMahieu's doing right now. He's doing an incredible job at AA. He's a mature veteran guy who's played in the postseason. He's played on multiple teams. He's like, he's had all this success, and he's gone down to AA, and he's playing really well. Now, that being said, this is a great situation for him to build some confidence, which, God love him, he's been struggling with the last couple years since his most recent injury, and his game has been going down, down, down. So good. I'm glad that they're giving him an extended run of rehab games. I think they're going to give him the max, which I believe is like 20 days or something like that. And they're planning to have him down there 20 days. I don't know if he'll be at AA the whole time. He may do some AAA. But good. Let him get his confidence back. Let him get his feel back. Let him remember who he is. Like, Simba, remember who you are. I mean, that's what we need, because we don't need DJ LeMahieu to come up and light. Yeah, we don't need him to come up and light the world on fire. We just need him to be able to contribute from the right side of the plate 3 times a week. That's all we need from DJ LeMahieu. And if he can get back to feeling himself and come up and do that, it will be a success.
I want to shout out my guy Froggy in the chat who says Hershey kisses, IKEA is Swiss, Volpe swing and a miss, Astros in 7. Shout out to my guy Taco Frog who is in the building. Froggy, the only Astro and that we acknowledge in the chat is our good friend Froggy, who is in the building. I appreciate you, Froggy. But no, I agree with you, Grace. As right now, DJ LeMahieu, he's playing the children. He's out there. He's playing the little leaguers, right? But it's good to see DJ LeMahieu performing at the level he's performing at in Somerset, because in spring training, when we was looking at DJ LeMahieu, when I was down there and I was seeing him on the backfields taking BP, he did not look the same. The version of DJ LeMahieu you see now, granted, I haven't seen him up close. I'm just going off of videos, but on video, the lateral movement is way better than what I saw in spring training. The pop off the bat, especially opposite way, is way more than what he was in spring training. I mean, he hit a home run in AA to straight ahead dead center field. We were joking about it, Grace, when Kirshner put it out there, a possible single for DJ LeMahieu, because he hit it so soft going the opposite field. So to see him have that much of a jump off of his bat, I know it's in AAA, but it's good to see, and it's good science. Because JV, I kid you not, if he was struggling in AAA, if he was not 6 for 10, if he was 1 for 10, right? If he only had one single and he had 3 or 4 strikeouts, we were saying DJ LeMahieu was done. Go ahead, JV.
Yeah, no. I would say at that point, if you can't hit in AA, is there a point to even go to AAA? Right. I mean, if you're not going to hit in AA, you're not going to hit in AAA. You're not going to hit in the majors. So, and we're just talking about speed. So, if you're facing guys that are in the majors throwing 100 and you can't hit the guy in AA that's throwing 94, 95, you're basically useless at this point. No matter how good your defense could be, you're basically useless. I don't want to see him get to the point of being useless, because it's starting to feel that way. But like I said, the 6 for 10 with the home run makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Maybe he's getting back into the swing of things. Maybe he did need a little bit of extended time to get that injury corrected. And come back fully healthy. I just don't want to, I understand he has to come back. He's getting paid $15 million a year, but I don't want to see a guy like Oswaldo Cabrera lose time to DJ LeMahieu. Cabrera's been very consistent. I know he's had a couple of games where he made some bad throws from third, but other than that, he's been solid. He's a good defender. He's been hitting a lot better. He's been hitting for average. He can get on base. He can steal a bag. And that's stuff that DJ can't do. He can't steal a bag. He's not going to go from first to third. But like Grace had said, if he could play 3 days a week just to break up a little bit of what's going on, if Jazz goes into another 0 for 31, if Volpe looks like he's pressing and he needs to get a day, because that's another thing. Volpe doesn't get any days off. I don't know if anybody noticed. They will throw him out there 162 games a year, hitting 180 with 5 home runs and 10 RBIs. He will play every single day if he's healthy. I think sometimes mentally you need a little bit of a sit down, not just a travel day. You need a literal sit in the dugout, catch up with your teammates a little bit and have someone else go take the reps for a day. So if DJ can provide that for us, I think it's going to be beneficial.
Bars. Oh, Hector's frozen. Hector's frozen. Hector, we don't know what
Am
you
I
said.
frozen again?
When you came back, you were laughing. We want to know what the joke was.
No, I laughed at you, Grace, because you said bars, like
bars.
from JV. No, I just want to go back to DJ LeMahieu, and I'm sorry about my internet this morning, y'all. I do apologize, but I want to go back to Anthony Volpe, not DJ LeMahieu, to Anthony Volpe, and to what you brought up. Right, ever since Friday, something happened in that BP. And Friday, I don't know what it was, but I saw Aaron Boone. And I saw the hitting coach Rosen, and I saw Dumb and Anthony Volpe having a conversation, and they kept pointing to Anthony Volpe's elbow. Now, when you watch Anthony Volpe from that Friday game till now, and you look at him from the beginning of the season, his elbow seems like it was like flying open. Look at him tonight. Look at footage from yesterday. His elbow was more tucked in. Ever since Friday, when they had that conversation with him to keep his elbow tucked in, Anthony Volpe has looked like a totally different hitter. Granted, we've seen stretches like this from Anthony Volpe that he looked god awful, and then he'll have 2 or 3 games where it's like, oh my God, this is a kid because a future all-star, right? So we want to see what we're seeing over the past few days. Let this be a 2-week span for Anthony Volpe. Let this be 2 to 3 weeks of Anthony Volpe to see if this is like I said, we've seen it in the past 2 or 3 times that he looks horrible, but then he has 2 or 3 games where he looks amazing. And then he has your hopes up, and then you're waiting for him to continue with that same type of effort. So hopefully that's a little bit different. What's your thoughts on that, JV? And then throw it over to Grace. Shout out to Future in the chat as well. Go ahead, bro.
My biggest issue with Volpe the last 2 weeks was the lack of hitting a fastball. I was talking to my brother about this, who he was a pitcher himself, and I said, "How would you attack Volpe right now?" He goes, "I wouldn't throw him a single breaking pitch. I would literally be throwing him anything that I had in the gas tank." Fastballs, daring you to hit it. And I said, that's amazing. And then if you watch the games, 4 or 5 pitch at bats, all fastballs, and swinging and missing the outside pitch, swinging and missing the pitch up and away, swinging and missing the pitch down and in. He just looked like he was flailing. It looked like his body, it looked like his head actually wasn't even looking at the baseball when it came to hitting the fastball. And I said, you got to be able to hit a fastball in this league. If you can't hit a fastball, you're in trouble. Because you have to be able to hit a fastball and then fight for your life when it comes to these breaking pitches, right? If you can't do that, we're in trouble. And this guy was getting, like I said, he was getting thrown out every single day, no breaks. But maybe if that talk, which I didn't see, and you had said Boone maybe approached him and sat him down a little bit, that's what he needs. Maybe if it's not missing a game, maybe it's, hey, we're noticing you're doing this. He needs that. This is his 3rd year. It's on his 13th year. If we're still talking about his arm flailing up in an upright position in 3 or 4 years from now, I don't think that's going to be good. But those little things need to be addressed, and I'm glad that they addressed them now. So hopefully he could make that adjustment and be an integral piece in the lineup, because we know he is not Anthony Volpe if he can't get on base and steal bags. If you're going to be Anthony Volpe and you're 0 for 4, half of your game is going to be diminished, because part of your game is getting on base and being able to steal, go first to third on a base hit. And that's not going to happen if you're hitting 201 and your on base percentage is 300.
Yeah. Go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, I when Volpe starts hitting to right field, I'm like, yes, Volpe, that is it. Stop trying to pull everything. Go Oppo, stay inside out, keep your barrel in the zone longer. And when you're flailing up, your mechanics it's making you slow. And that's why you can't catch up to the fastball. I'm a hitting expert, but even I know that, right? So I'm glad somebody, I'm sure lots of people are talking to Anthony Volpe. It's probably the problem. He's probably too many people trying to help him, trying to fix him, and he needs to just simplify, get back to basics, right? So that's what we saw last night. Hopefully he can build on that, because at the beginning of the year, when he was having all these homers, which is great.
Mhm.
Obviously, you're not going to complain about homers, but the important part was he was hitting those homers over the right field wall. So if they hadn't have been homers, they would have been probably doubles or singles. Him taking it that way, that's what we wanted. That's what we want him to do. Keep taking it to right field, Volpe. We love to see it. But speaking on not being able to get on base and use one of your best tools, he has been getting thrown out trying to steal. But anyway, I'm on a tangent. Y'all. I'm very, 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 very concerned about Jazz.
Same. Offensively, same.
At the plate, exactly. I love his defense. I love him. I love him on the team. I don't want to trade him. I don't want to DFA him. I love him. But y'all, his at-bats, to me, are the most unwatchable on the entire team.
His swing is too long, Grace.
Oh my gosh.
It's too long.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
You got to shorten up his swing. He's missing fastballs. The breaking pitch, forget it. He's already done swung, and the pitch hasn't even reached the plate yet.
You know what, JB? He swings over balls. He swings under balls. He's chasing outside. I don't know what to me, Volpe, I'm looking at him and I'm like, okay, Volpe, we need to tighten up here. With Jazz, I'm like, I don't know. You're all over the place, Jazz. And I swear, I'm so concerned about it that I'm like, they need to drop him in the lineup. They need to drop him down in the lineup. And last night I sat down and I'm like, okay, if I was making a lineup, what would I do? And I thought, well, we got to drop Volpe down. Well, we got to drop Jazz down. Well, we got to drop Cody down. We can't drop everyone. And I'm like, Aaron Boone has his work. Y'all try to sit down and make a good lineup. It's really hard. You can't have all of our best hitters in at the same time, because unfortunately we only have one DH spot. We got so many outfielders. They're all hitting great. I mean, verse lefties, verse right. It's very challenging. But that being said, even though we were on here a couple days ago, talking about how we want to drop Volpe in the lineup, I think dropping Jazz in the lineup might be more important at this point. Put him at 9. Let him get on. Let him get on and steal around. I mean, he's got the most speed on the entire team. I don't know. I don't know what I'm telling y'all. Jazz, right now, he is reeling.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Defensively, I agree with both of you guys. Defensively, he has been solid. You want to see more when it comes to his bat. Now, over his past 10 games, he's hitting 250. So that's something that's good. He's got in 6 of the last 10 games, right? When you look at his last 10, again, I'm trying to find anything that gives me any type of hope for Jazz Chisholm. But when you look at his last 10 games, I know against Baltimore, he was 0 for 3. But against the Blue Jays, he was 1 for 4. Second, in the last game, first game of the doubleheader, he was 1 for 4. On Friday, he was 1 for 2. He had 2 walks. That Guardian series, he had 2 hits in that Guardian series and 8 at bats. Right, that race series, he had 1 hit and 12 at bats. So that was the biggest blemish, I would say, in Jazz Chisholm over the past 10 games. But it is 6 hits in 10 games, so maybe Jazz Chisholm can find it because he's not hitting home runs. He's getting on by walking and getting some singles. So hopefully Jazz Chisholm does turning around because like you said, the tools that he has when it comes to his versatility, when it comes to being an athlete, when it comes to his speed, when it comes to his ability to field the ball, he has phenomenal tools. We just need to see more from Jazz Chisholm from the plate, especially as a left-handed hitter in Yankee Stadium. We need you. Yes, you can fall in love with that short porch, but we need you to get on base and use your speed. I agree with you, Grace. I think the Yankees need to drop him down in the lineup because maybe he thinks of himself as a 5-hole hitter or a 6-hole hitter when you're not. You're not that type of hitter. You just need to be pulled, move down, just get on base and steal bases. And this is why I wanted the Yankees to have him as the leadoff hitter to start the season and not a middle of the order, type of batter because if he views himself as a middle of the order type of hitter, he's going to fall in love with that swing, that short porch, and try to hit home runs all the time. You should have just let him lead off the game in front of Aaron Judge. He'll get more fastballs, and if he walks, he could use his speed. I just felt like he should have been the leadoff hitter to start the season and not in the middle of the lineup, personally.
I would like a 250 hitter who can get on base and steal bags at the bottom. That means your lineup is long and good. That's what
he did that last year for us. In the half a season he was with us, he did that for us. I believe he hit 256. He had 25 homers. I want that from Jazz. But if we have to take away some of his homers to get the average up and get on base, I'm fine with that too, because we got guys that can hit home runs besides Jazz. So if it means fixing Jazz by moving him down, like Gray said, in the lineup, which I'm all for, him hitting 8th or 9th, maybe that means he gets on base a little more. He could steal a couple of bags, and then look at that. The top of the lineup rolls over, and you got Judge maybe with 2 guys on base. And I think that's what needs to happen. And maybe that'll help guys like Bellinger. Bellinger's hitting with no guys on base, and they're attacking him. That's the problem.
Yeah. That right there is key.
I saw a stat today that somebody put up on Twitter. It was WRC plus for the team. Y'all, Cody Bellinger's WRC plus is like the worst on the whole team, like by double. It's 63.
I think his back issue is more of a situation than we actually see. I think that there's a back injury that's lingering, and he was doing fine in spring training. He was hitting. I mean, I know it's spring training; you're not facing the aces of everybody's staff, but he was hitting 400. It looked like he was going to roll right into the season, and now I know he had that little bit of a back issue, and that could maybe still be lingering. I don't really know what's wrong with him.
The thing is, Cody Bellinger has a pedigree and a history of being a World Series champion, MVP, All-Star, Rookie of the Year, slugger, incredible teammate, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I understand that Aaron Boone is banking on the back of the baseball card coming back around, and I get that. He's struggling right now, but can we all agree that we think he's going to come around eventually, right? Yeah, you want to react and say drop him down in the order, but no, but I don't know. It's so tough. But the upside of Cody Bellinger coming around is so high.
Yeah.
And that's what they're banking on, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I just right now he's not a 3-hole hitter. He's 3-hole hitter right now. When you look at his stats, and I don't want to be picking on Cody Bellinger, but when you look at his stat, he's slugging 315. Slugging.
Oh my
he has
God.
an on-base percentage of 255. You brought up his WRC plus. He has a 64 WRC plus. When you put his batting average of balls in play, he has a 221 batting average for balls that he put in play. When you look at his expected batting average, he has a 258 expected batting average. So even the balls that he's putting in play, the expecting batting average is 258. If you minus 30 or 40, as they normally do for what they think your batting averages be, that's 228. That's a 228 expecting batting average after you do like a math. It's 258, but whatever.
I looked at the numbers. Heck, I mean, he has about 100 plate appearances now. I mean, this is a sample size, right? This is not 20 at bats. This is 100 at bats, and over the 100 at bats that he's seen, all of our team, the starters on our team, every single one of them has a WRC plus of 100 or higher, which means 100, in case y'all don't know in the chat or whatever, is league average, okay? So if you have over 100 WRC plus, that means you're above league average by however many points. Like, let's say, like, Trent Grisham has like 263 WRC plus. He is that much better than league average. Cody Bellinger is the only person on the starting lineup day to day that is below 100. He's the only person below 100, and he's not barely below. He's at 63. That means he's 63% worse than the league average bat.
And if he doesn't get better, good luck opting out next year. Good luck. I don't know what.
And I like Cody Bellinger.
Me too.
Yeah, we all do. But yeah, he is down bad right now.
And if he wasn't playing defense, it would be almost like a lost cause at this point.
Mm-hmm.
His defense has saved some of his early part of the season so far.
Yeah, and defensively, Cody Bellinger is going to be solid. I'm not worried about Cody Bellinger's defense. It's his offense. He's a great fielder, like Jerry Cadill just put in the chat. Big time, Jerry. He's a great fielder. He's definitely a great fielder. Hopefully, he lives up to the back of the baseball card, but he may need some time to rest. And with Jason Dominguez improving as the season goes on, I think you could rest Cody Bellinger and have Trent Grisham in the lineup more than Cody Bellinger, because when you look and Jason Dominguez, you're getting more out of both of them offensively than whatever you're getting out of Cody Bellinger. And it's sad to say it, but kudos to both Jason Dominguez and Trent Grisham, who has taken that opportunity and make the most out of it. More for Trent Grisham than Jason Dominguez, because Jason Dominguez was always going to get at bats, being the Yankees prospect. But Trent Grisham forcing Aaron. Shout out to Trent Grisham, who revitalized his baseball career, because before last year, Trent Grisham was an everyday baseball player. He was not a fourth outfielder. He was an everyday baseball player that gave you Gold Glove defense. Last year was the first time that he was a fourth outfielder. The Yankees are giving him more at bats so far this year than what he had last year at this time, and he's producing. The numbers have been solid for Trent. So I just want to give him some flowers when it comes to that.
That's Texas boy, baby. Y'all see me on Twitter. Every time he does anything, I'm like, Texas flag, yeah. Like,
I forgot to tell you, Grace, because so on Friday, right, the Chuck Knobloch thing, there was crazy traffic coming from Jersey. Chuck Knobloch didn't get to around the stadium to around like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I was already inside, so I wasn't able to get the one-on-one interview with him, but he was in the bleacher creatures, and I was able to meet up with him in the bleachers with him and his agent. And guess what? I said, Giga Aggies, and he was like, oh, yeah. He got so excited. And I said, my co-host is a big Texas fan. She's from Texas, and I'm working on something to get him on the show, so be on the lookout for that.
God,
so he was super excited.
Cool.
When I brought the Giga Aggies up.
Giga Maggie. You're really close. Giga Maggie.
Giga. I said Giga Aggies, but I think he heard Giga and got excited because there was a lot of people screaming I was around him.
That's awesome. He knew exactly what you meant. I guarantee you nobody else at Yankee Stadium told him Giga Maggies that day, so that's awesome.
Before we get ready to get up out of here, we got over 80 people in the building watching us collectively. Folks, if you guys can, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. When it comes to subscribers, we are at 5,149. So we got one extra subscriber on the show. We appreciate you guys. Make you guys go and follow my guy JV Diamond Discussion Podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music as well, JV?
Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Yep.
Apple and Spotify. And let them know the socials as well. Go ahead, bro. My fault.
So it's all good. So we're on X. Diamond Discussions, the same handle, and the same handle for Instagram as well. And you'll see all the corresponding posts every time we release an episode. So we release one to both platforms, and then you'll see obviously an update on X and on Instagram.
I just gotta say, JV and Roro are two people that I met on TikTok that I've loved the most. Right, great conversations, but they're great individuals, great human beings. I met up with JV at the start of the season. We was at a game together. We definitely gonna catch more games. But what I like most, late night, the conversations we have are like ridiculous on TikTok. JV's pantry is full snacks, and I'm going to rob it one day. He has all the snacks in his pantry. Like his pantry, the Kardashians can't keep up with my man JV's pantry.
You could probably rob my pantry, and I still wouldn't even know it's robbed. That's how full it is. But it's all right, Heck. You can take whatever you want, brother.
JV, I appreciate you, brother. Grace, last.
100%.
Oh, Hector, you froze, but I think he was saying last thoughts.
I said Grace, last thoughts for the people before we get out of here.
All right, last thoughts for the people tonight. Hit it, get it. Rodon on the mound, Camden Yards. We're facing another right-handed pitcher from the Orioles. Tonight, we got to get right, start the win streak. Remember who owns the East. That's the Yankees. You know, what's tough last night, what I was thinking was everybody was talking about how their starting pitcher hadn't gotten as many strikeouts all year as he got last night versus the Yankees. I'm like, yeah, the Orioles circle when the Yankees come to town. You know who else circles when the Yankees come to town? The Blue, let me say, we're there. They hate us the most out of all the division rivals. The Blue Jays hate us the most out of all their division rivals. The Red Sox hate us the most out of all of their division rivals. The Rays hate us the most out of all their division rivals. Who we hate the most? The Red Sox. Everybody else, we're like, what's the big deal? No, we're number one hated by all the rest of the teams. So they play us tougher than they play their other games, you know? So you got to keep that in mind. But with that being said, win streak starts tonight. Rodon, let me get 7 innings. I'm feeling it. He, build off of his last great start. Let me get 7 innings, 2 runs he'll give up. That's fine. And we'll put up 5. Final score 5-2, Yankees.
I like it.
Let's go. JV, let's get your take. Final predictions. Nick Yak is in the building. Nick Yak, I haven't seen you in a minute, my guy. Knicks in 5. The Knicks play tonight. Go ahead, JV.
Yeah, definitely Knicks in 5, 100%. Listen, if Rodon gives us 6, it's usually a good thing. That means the Yankees are either in the lead or they're tied. So I'll be okay with that. I'm predicting a little bit better than last night. Hopefully we can hit better with runners in scoring position. If that happens, there should be no problems. And Rodon has been actually pretty good after a loss. So that has been refreshing to see. So I'm hoping he can continue that. And like I said, Grace, if he goes 7, the Yankees are going to win. So I'm on Grace's train right now.
Same. I'm on the same train as Grace. Listen, Carlos Rodon, the Dawn is going to be on tonight, all right? I'm looking for Los with the accent on top of the O to pitch 7 strong innings, right? Give up 2-3 runs, and I think the Yankees are going to pull this out 5-3. Look for Devin Williams to have another 1-2-3 inning, and I'm calling it right now. Cody Bellinger tonight. Cody Bellinger is going yard for the New York Yankees.
All right.
We will be back if I haven't frozen. We will be back this Thursday just for some scheduling conference. Because of scheduling, we won't be on this Thursday. We'll be coming on back this Friday for Yankees Morning Brew. Not on Thursday. We're coming on 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. Just stay looked out for the community tabs with the update on the show. But until next time, I'm your guy Hector.
JV.
Grace Monroe.
I'll make sure my internet is better on the next episode. But until next time, folks, drink some water, stay hydrated, say something positive about yourself. Let's go, Yankees, to the moon, and we are out of here.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.